It's time for us to invest in educational opportunity to guarantee that we have the most highly skilled workforce in the world.
Education is very important to a nation. It helps improve the standard of living for a country. It also helps people get necessary skills that they may need in their adult life. With higher education, people have a chance at better jobs, and that also leads to a higher standard of living. But it is relative to each person how important education is to their life.
Education is the building blocks of anyone's life. So if you have education, then that leads to personal growth, and then that leads to ambition, and so you eventually get somewhere from being educated.
It's a basis of what they're going to be going into, what their passions are. You can't get anywhere or do anything for the world if you don't have education.
Education and its policies are not standard across the country. Some places may have more money to offer. The rates of graduation, employment, and the average income amount per household correlate and is different nationwide.
I definitely don't think that it's accessible to everyone in the country because a lot of universities, even if the student does get in, they probably don't have enough money to pay for the tuition.
I feel like some obstacles are harder for children simply because of the things and requirements that it takes to get to a higher education, which is not always the best for certain environments and school systems. Some school systems are not as better as others, as well as private schools. So I think it varies. I mean, it's not as easy for everybody to get in have a higher education, as well as a better education than most.
The more money the location has, the more education and the more access they have to it.
Education may not be easily accessible for everyone, so many argue that the funding for education should be in the hands of the federal government, not the state, and vice versa.
I think it'll be better if it was federal, simply because then that they would have a standard for all 50 states, and not just each state go by what they require.
Everybody has a different opinion, and they might show favoritism of different areas in Alabama. So I feel like if the government had the full power to do what they wanted for everyone, I think they could equally distribute funds amongst all the cities in Alabama, not just certain parts.
I think the education should be in the hands of the state because every state is so different, and the United States is a big country, so there is a big economy change.
I think the state, because it's more centralized. If it's the federal government, it's more of the whole United States, but if it's just the state, it's more one-on-one.
The state knows exactly what's going on in their state, whereas the federal government doesn't really know what's happening in every state, so they can't really make an equal decision for all of the states.
It should be state because every state is different. Every state has different financial abilities, different facilities, and it should amend to those.
The Obama administration, however, did help to make it easier for college students.
We are also very proud of all that this administration has done to make higher education more affordable. We doubled investments in Pell Grants and college tax credits. We expanded income-based loan repayment options for tens of millions of students. We made it easier to apply for financial aid. We created a college scorecard to help students make good decisions about higher education, and we provided new funding and support for school counselors.
Alabama has one of the lowest and most underfunded educational systems in America. The experiences in this system varies.
I've been educated well personally. I feel like it could have been better though. In some subjects I was behind because of the different schools I went to, and I was put behind in math, but in the end it made me better because I had time to work on skills and better myself in all of my subjects. So, but it could be better.
I mean, it's okay. Like, the schools that I have went to, some of them were okay, and some of them were like a little raggedy, but overall, it was okay.
I think for the situation that we're in as a state, I think my education has been pretty decent. I try to think about other people who are in even worse situations where their school has no funding at all.
Honestly, I think it's not that good of an education because I did come from California, and in California the education is a lot faster over there, and when I came here I was in a higher math class, but was over there, I was in the right math class. And then I was relearning everything that I learned in middle school up until sophomore year. So I feel like the education system in Alabama could get better than it already is.
You know, I don't think that the MPS system in Alabama has the financial ability to really help every student, but it's such an impossible thing to help every single student, and no, I don't think that we have enough.
Education is a big part of many American lives, and it links to other parts of their life.
I feel like when you're educated, you know what you're talking about. If you're not, you don't really have an opinion. But when you know and you're confident in what you are educated in, then you can form an opinion. And without an opinion, you have no say-so, so you feel like you have to answer to other people.
Each teacher, each influence at school has a part of that. So it's all part of their environment, it's all part of their structure and growing up as a person. So I mean, I feel like it's very important for everyone to put hands in the student's life, so that what makes education a part of everyday living.
Perspectives vary on the amount of responsibility the federal government holds. However, education's values and accessibility heavily depends on the federal government's decision. It is now up to our next president whether he improves it or not.
Cost of education. By the way, we're going to end Common Core and we're bringing our education local.